Plaintiff Carl Hatley owns a gym in Lansing, Michigan, and they're known for amateur and recreational boxing. Carl says he was looking to publicize his gym, so he contacted the defendant, who's a well-known Ultimate Fighter, to teach 2 seminars. However, the defendant breached their agreement, so Carl's suing for his marketing expenses and refunds. Defendant Miriam Bickham is a well-known Ultimate Fighter, also known as Shoni Carter, and he was even a top-ranked undefeated fighter in Japan. Shoni insists he never signed an agreement to appear at Carl's gym, and he's countersuing Carl for lost wages.
Start with you.
Hi, Your Honor. My name is Carl. I'm from Lansing, Michigan. I own a gym called Big House Boxing and MMA. If you're ever in the area of Lansing, please stop by. You can watch some amateur MMA fights, maybe do a little sparring. And
What are you laughing about?
no, the offering is a spar.
Hey, I can fight.
All right.
Don't let this robe fool you.
All right. You're more welcome anytime.
All right.
Right now we're an amateur and recreational.
Okay.
And we got a couple guys that train professionally. But we were looking for some publicity for the gym. And so I asked John, my witness, for a couple names of some people. He does interviews with UFC fighters. He told me about Shoni Carter, so I looked him up. And after looking him up,
Superman?
Yeah, this guy.
All right. That's how he's standing. That's how he's been standing ever since he's been here, like Superman. You need this? Not quite a cape, but you know, you might be.
I got my own.
Got your own cape? See? I knew what I was talking about. All right. See, I was close. Go ahead.
Well, after looking him up online, I didn't know much about him, but after looking him online, he has this suit is pretty quiet compared to his other suits. He's got some pretty loud suits.
But it obviously works for him. You reached out to him to hire him.
Yeah, we did.
He's probably pretty successful. Let me hear about you, sir.
Yes, sir, Your Honor. I started off fighting 23 years ago.
How old were you then?
I was 14.
All right.
I have professionally over 210 fights, 13 world titles, 6 national titles. I'm in the Martial Arts Hall of Fame, 3 different versions of a video game. From the UFC, I've done the reality show, The Ultimate Fighter from Spike TV. I was a coach on BET, The Iron Ring. Some people may recognize me. I'm the guy who almost got into it with Floyd Mayweather.
You almost got into it with Floyd.
Yeah, I almost choked him out, but you know.
On the show.
I'm known for throwing and choking people. I travel all around this world. I've used up 4 different passports.
All right.
Filled them. I have an instructional DVD that people can buy.
Let me see it.
I teach Japanese jiu-jitsu. I've taught the Japanese jiu-jitsu.
You taught the Japanese how to fight. Now you're taking it too far.
Your Honor, I know. Seriously. Your Honor.
You had me. I was with you till you told me you taught Japanese martial arts.
Your Honor.
You teach Japanese martial arts?
Yes, sir. I've been to Tokyo 13 times teaching karate and jiu-jitsu.
Did you fight in Tokyo?
I was a top-ranked fighter in Japan for 7 years.
Really?
Undefeated. I even have my own energy drink.
You're a bad man. You're a bad man. You're a bad man.
I know jiu-jitsu in Japanese. Kansetsu waza, shime waza, gatame waza.
How many years did it take, the training, to get where you're at? How many years of training?
Entirely 23 years. I attained 3 black belts, 2 years apiece, an entire 6 years. I lived in a dojo. I gave up my home and lived in martial arts dojos from around the world.
All right. And you messing with him?
No.
If anybody knows the game, they know my name.
Okay.
This is where I teach at, and this is you know, if since you're local, if you would like to stop by.
So this is my show, so let me go.
Yes,
all
sir.
Right. Let's see. 2000 you're suing him for. Tell me what happened first.
January we contacted him, and then from there we did negotiations for a month and
to do what?
To teach 2 seminars and ref some amateur MMA fights.
When was it to occur?
That was for April 4th, 2009.
All right. You want your friend to talk now?
Yes.
Or? All right. State your name, sir.
Jonathan Brown. Mm-hmm. Like he was saying, we contacted Shoni Carter on January 30th. And we just text back and forth and basically over terms, you know, price and whatnot. And we came to an agreement of a flat fee of $900 on February 2nd. And at that point, the defendant told me to get the show marketed.
I disagree with that, Your Honor.
All right, I'll let you speak. Go ahead.
We went out, we got flyers, we We opened up a website. We advertised on our website. We advertised on the social networks. We spent a lot of money advertising to put this together because we wanted it to be a big event
And
for
then what happened?
our gym. On February 26th, I contacted him again. You know, I told him, you know, we wanted to send you some stuff, some of the terms of the agreement and whatnot. And he said, that's fine. He sent me back his Yahoo email address. And I texted him again. I was just like, are you going to be able to fax this? And he said he'll find a fax. We sent him out via email to that email address. He sent us an email back the very next day. And he said, I'm sorry, I couldn't get this open. Can you resend it in like a different, you know, document, like a Word document or something like that? And in that email, he also said, you know, looking forward to working with you guys, you know, can't wait, you know, to be a part of this whole thing. So again, we were relying on everything he was saying, getting it marketed and stuff like that, preparing for, you know, what was going to be a big event for us. You know, and he gave us every indication through these text messages, through our phone calls.
What happened to that agreement, though?
At that point, he disappeared.
So you all sent him an agreement to sign.
Right.
And he never signed it.
Right.
So why did you think you had a contract?
I think we had an oral contract, sir. When I told him,
But the intention was to have a written one.
Oh, when we were talking, no, we were talking about like terms of the deal.
Right, terms that you were going to email him.
Yeah, no, we were back and forth talking about things like money. We were talking about.
Didn't you tell him you were going to email him a contract?
Yes.
Right.
But
and so did he say no?
No, he said email it to me.
Right. So that means he was looking for a written contract.
Okay.
To sign.
Right.
In order to have an agreement.
Sir, on February 2nd, when I contacted him, we agreed to this over the phone. He told me to get it marketed. Okay, and we relied on that, and we spent money on that. Okay, so if he wasn't intending to commit to this deal, why would he tell us to get it marketed with something that he never wanted to do?
All right, let me hear from you, sir. Give me your story about the contract.
Yes, sir. On a day-to-day basis, people contact me. Just on my Facebook page, I answer 65 friend requests.
Come on, man.
And know what I'm saying?
I know you're bigger than life. Come on, let's
what
get
I'm
to
saying
the
is this.
contract.
You're right, Your Honor. You're right. They initially said $900.
Well, let me back up.
Yes,
Do you
sir.
typically sign an agreement?
I usually sign a contract for anything that I do.
Right, I would assume so. So
Yes,
what
sir.
happened in this instance?
I am willing and was willing to negotiate the terms to my participation with their particular organization. The problem is for them to offer such a mere pittance of a price, $900, not including gas expenses. I have a $1,000 watch on a $1,200 belt buckle.
Here we go. Go ahead.
The fact is, if I let myself be pimped out at this price, then the other promoters from across the country and around the world will assume I'm willing to take the same price.
I agree.
And I cannot assume that they're going to pay me the price that I asked them for and say, put the money on the wood with the ink and the paper. I've been burned many a times by people. People
What was the
like
last
this.
discussion you all had?
I said to them, like he just said, I am willing to work with you and I'm excited to work with you and looking forward to working with you. That means I am actively willing to negotiate and work with you on this. Now, if they are not willing to work with me, they're working against me. And I never agreed to anything in particular other than I'm willing to work with them.
Sir, he told us to get it marketed.
What marketing expenses are you asking for?
I hear you.
Your counterclaim for $2,500 for lost wages is for what?
Yes, so I'm a personal trainer and I work individually, one-on-one, and with groups. So when I get a potential date, I basically move dates or move clients around to fit that particular date. On an hourly rate, I rate anything from $75 to $150 an hour per person. If I'm working with groups on a seminar, I'm anything from $50 to $75
All right, so
a
let me
head.
stop you.
Yes,
You
sir.
say you're big enough, and indeed you are. You're real big. That you can reschedule your events and your training. That's what I heard you say.
Yes, sir.
And You rescheduled the things you had for another date, at which point you will be paid for that work. So you haven't lost any money here, sir. Gentlemen, you all haven't proven to me you had a valid contract. When you put a contract in writing and you try to give it to someone and they don't sign it, that means they don't want to do it. And you shouldn't have did all this advertising until you had a signed contract. Both your cases are dismissed. Have a good day.